Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Girl Gone Crypto. You guys, I am so excited. I have Diana Chen here from Unstoppable Domains. We have been having so much fun hanging out and recording because I am the Unstoppable Domains influencer of the month this month, which is just really fun to get to partner with you guys and get to really talk through some of these super important conversations. So for those of you watching this video, please also do go check out the Unstoppable Domains channel because we are recording some videos that are going to be posted on there as well. So anyway, Diana, thank you so much for joining me today. We are talking about storing your crypto, people. Such an important topic.
Super important. And first of all, thank you so much for being our influencer of the month. It is such an honor for us to be able to partner with you and create all this content together. And I've had so much fun doing it already and can't wait for everybody to see all of this. So I guess like for this video, like you said, we're talking about storing crypto. So there's so many places you can store your crypto. There's exchanges, wallets, and then there's digital wallets versus hardware wallets and all of these different things. So I guess to kick us off, why don't we just, why don't you give people an idea of like, what is the difference between, let's start big picture, between an exchange and a wallet?
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So an exchange is often where you are going to be buying your crypto, and a wallet is where you're going to be storing it. So there is some crossover within that with hot wallets, which we can kind of get into. But so if I think about for myself, like let's say that I decide that I want to turn some fiat into Bitcoin, right? So that's another way that I might think of an exchange versus a wallet is oftentimes there's more fiat on ramps, right? And so I might connect my bank account, let's say to Coinbase or to Gemini, and send some fiat, and then I can buy the Bitcoin. Now, if I wanted to, I could leave that on the exchange, and we can talk about why you might not want to in a moment, or I can move that off into my own wallet that I maybe feel a little bit better about using for kind of a longer term store.
Got it. Yeah, definitely want to talk about, storing crypto on exchanges, why that's maybe a good or a bad idea. But first of all, why don't we dive into wallets a little bit more? Like you said, there's hot wallets and cold wallets. So hot wallets, we're talking about digital wallets, and then there's cold wallets like hardware wallets. So what's the difference between the two? And then is it like, do we need to have a digital wallet and a hardware wallet, or is it more of like an either or?
Yeah, great question. And so the way I kind of think about it is that you're going to use different things in different situations depending on what you're wanting to do. So if you are trading, let's say I'm a Bitcoin trader, I actually might want to have my crypto on an exchange because that's how I'm going to connect to the API to actually do the trading. Versus like, let's say that I am regularly sending out, Ethereum or Bitcoin or whatever it is, I might want to use a digital wallet because that's just going to be easier. But as we're kind of going down the line of exchange, hot wallet, hardware wallet, it gets more and more secure, but also more and more difficult to access the funds. There's more steps involved, right? So that's kind of why I say like, hey, maybe I'm constantly sending things out of this address, so I might want to keep that in a hot wallet. So I kind of view a hardware wallet as more something that's like, I'm not really going to be touching it, right? So like maybe I've got my kind of like core stash where I'm like, okay, I'm not touching this Bitcoin, right? We're going to put that on a hardware wallet. We're going to make sure it's really secure. And so the reason that that is more secure is, I think here in our industry, we talk a lot about two-factor authentication and really like setting up, multiple steps of security. And when you have a hardware wallet, you're not just putting a password in like you would with a hot wallet. You're also needing a physical device to access your funds, which adds an extra layer of security. But then again, also makes it like a little bit less, like fun if you're using it on a daily basis. And so again, I think that the amount of usage for each one will kind of predict which one you use. And so I use a variety of different things, and I think that most people probably do as well.
Got it, got it. So if we're sort of like analogizing that back to traditional finance, your hardware wallet is, you can almost view that as like your savings account. Like you're really just like saving money in there. You're not really touching it. You're not using it on a day-to-day basis. And then your digital wallet is more of like your checking account. And then the exchange is like if you're an active trader, which like not everybody is, right?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great way to think about it. And what's cool too is that there's even becoming a little bit, I would say, almost like crossover between these three camps a little bit as well. Like you can even connect your hardware wallet to your MetaMask, and it's still like pretty easy to use. But again, that adds an extra layer of security where you have to then go get your hardware wallet and plug it in to actually do any transactions. And so, but it is cool to see a lot of these kind of integrations coming together. Even with hot wallets, some of them are adding fiat on-ramps. We talked about that in the beginning. And so you might not even need to go directly through an exchange, unless you want to. And so I think that we're seeing a lot of like the evolution of these tools, which is really cool. And I think that another thing that people really need to think about is the whole custodial versus non-custodial piece of things as well.
Yeah, well, let's dive into that a little bit more. So when we think about hot wallets or digital wallets, there's so many different kinds out there already, but there's sort of like two main categories, and those are custodial and non-custodial. So how would you like explain the difference between each, and then what would you say to help people decide whether to use a custodial or a non-custodial wallet?
Yeah, so I think that let's just first define them. So custodial means that someone is holding custody of your funds for you. Non-custodial meaning that you have full control. So I generally am more of a fan of non-custodial because part of why I am such a fan of cryptocurrencies and blockchain and this whole industry is kind of the self-sovereignty piece of things where you can actually be the sole person responsible for your funds. But that being said, I know that's scary for a lot of people because they're used to having a customer service phone number that they can call if something goes wrong. They're used to, let's say there's something funny goes wrong with their account. They can call Visa and just have the charges removed. We've got all of these kind of customer service oriented things where you can call someone that will help you if something goes wrong with your money. And so the idea of not having that option, I know, is a little bit scary for people. So I have no problem with custodial services, especially for people that are just getting in and, want to be able to call someone that might be able to help them out, if something did go wrong. And so I'd say that those are kind of the biggest things. Like the goal from my perspective should, for the most part, be try to move, more non-custodial. But I think that custodial platforms can be a really, really great kind of stepping stone to help people kind of guide through the process as they're learning, because it is a big learning curve. Like there's a lot of pieces of things and it's easy to do something wrong and mess up. And so to know that there's like potentially someone that could help you is, I think is a good thing. So I think they all have, kind of various purposes and they play different roles here in the ecosystem.
For sure. And then last sort of thing. So we talked about like it's a good idea to store your money in exchange if you're like maybe a very active trader and you're going to want to be moving that around a lot. Are there any negatives to storing your crypto on an exchange?
Absolutely. So the way that I think about it is any crypto that I hold in any kind of custodial setting. So I'm glad we just kind of broke that down a second ago, is I have to be basically willing to lose it. Because if like, let's say, I don't think Coinbase is going out of business anytime soon, but let's say I had some money on Coinbase and suddenly they close their doors, or what might be more likely is like there's some sort of government mandate for them to freeze funds. That happens on big exchanges. There's nothing I can do about it. There's literally nothing I can do. And so I always view it as, okay, try to move, like if you've got, let's say, a certain stash, right, that you are wanting to protect, hold that in as secure of a way as you can. Hardware wallet, make those backups for private keys. We made a video talking about that, so I can, link to that below as well for people that want to check that out. But, really treat it like that. But if you're going to have something in a custodial setting, just be aware that you could lose it. And so another kind of arena to all of this, I know we're talking more about wallets, but there's, a lot of both DeFi and CeFi options where people are earning, rewards on their crypto. And so again, it's a little bit riskier than holding that in a hardware wallet. So yes, you're earning money, but you have to be aware of the risk. So for example, if like, let's say you have some Ethereum or Bitcoin on like BlockFi, let's say, like that's great, you're earning some income, but you also have to be kind of mentally prepared and aware that it is a custodial platform. So if something went wrong, that is what it is. So I think as long as people are aware and like try to put the highest percentage of their portfolio into like this kind of like it sits kind of setting in a secure way. But if they want to play with maybe a percentage in some of these other settings that are a little bit riskier but might yield better rewards, like I think that can be kind of a good strategy too.
Awesome. So to sort of like summarize this up, I know we talked about so many things in this video, but to sort of sum it up, there's hardware wallets, digital wallets, and those can be split up into custodial and non-custodial. And then there's exchanges. And pretty much like you don't want to keep your money on an exchange unless you're a very active trader. And then any money that you don't plan on touching for, on a regular basis, like definitely keep it in a hardware wallet. Then if you want to be more and more secure, then it's better to have a cold wallet and a hot wallet. Would you say that kind of sums it up? Am I missing anything key?
No, I think that's perfect. And kind of just to summarize for if anyone's watching this and maybe they feel a little overwhelmed by the options, is that, start out with the level that kind of makes sense for you, right? Like as you're just getting started, you probably don't need to get full offline cold storage, air gap technology backups. Like you can start with the hot wallet, right? Like, and kind of move along as you go through your crypto journey. So I think that it's all just it's a journey of kind of learning and taking those little steps. And so just start off with getting your crypto off an exchange, again, unless you're a trader like we talked about, and putting it into a wallet.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for being our influencer of the month. I can't wait to make more videos with you, and I can't wait for people to see all of this.
Oh, same. Yeah, I'll make sure that everyone knows about all the videos. So we'll link to that below. So if those watching this video on my channel, you can go check out the ones on the Unstoppable Domain channel. So Diana, thank you so much. It's been really fun just to chat all about wallets and exchanges.
Thank you so much, Leah. I learned so much from you all the time. So thank you for giving us all of this info.